Welcome back. I am Cheryl Gleason, and you are watching Inside the Artist Studio, and my guest today is Edith LeFebvre. So, Edith, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for asking me.
So, let's get down to the nitty gritty. How long have you been an artist?
I started painting about 2005, and I actually started painting about 1977 and then stopped.
Why'd you stop?
Money,
Oh, money.
school, money,
Yeah.
child,
Life.
life.
Life
Yeah,
gets in the
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, that happens to a lot of artists where they get to a certain point, they're enjoying themselves, but then these things take priority, and then you just hope that you come back to it, which clearly you did.
Right, and it's because I met a woman, Rosemary, and she was older, and she had taken a class when she was 65 years old with her older daughter, and she found out she could paint. And when I met her, I was an undergraduate in Michigan, and I went to this gallery, and I took my son because we always went everywhere, and I was standing next to this older guy, and he said to me, "Isn't that something?" And I looked at him, I said, "What?" And he said, "I've always been known," or she was always known as the doctor's wife. And now I'm known as the artist husband, because he was the man that started the heart unit and a good part of the hospital that was in that community. So everybody knew him, and he'd been around forever. But now his wife was having this solo show that I went to, and from there she was going to Holland. She was an international artist. She was
Wow.
like 69, 70, and she didn't start till she was 65. There's always, and my grandfather was a portrait painter, and so I knew that gene was in there. It was just kind of buried.
I had to dust it off a little bit
Thus
and
it did.
bring it in the front.
Exactly.
Yeah, my mom always said she didn't have a artistic bone in her body, but I think that was not true. She just downplayed it. But I have a pastel drawing that my grandmother did,
Really?
late 1800s, early 1900s. So yeah, it can be a sort of genetic trait, and my sister's incredibly scary talented. When did you first consider yourself an artist?
When my first show was accepted by my first painting that I submitted was selected as number 2 in this show. And I looked at number 1 and I thought, my God, his was so good. And actually his name was Kevin Porter. He was a water colorist.
Okay.
Anyway, and it was in Fair Oaks, and that was probably 2007.
2007.
I'd been painting for 2 years, and
Oh wow, that's awesome.
and I put it in, and I was just so shocked, and it was a big show. It was in Fair Oaks. It used to be a Fair Oaks art place, and it's closed down, which is really unfortunate. And then I started thinking about it, and I still wouldn't tell anybody. You just don't feel like it.
It is this internal struggle that we fight with, isn't it?
Yeah.
I sometimes think it can also be on a day-to-day basis. Like, I just don't feel like an artist today.
Right.
You
I
know,
agree. Or you
get to
block.
these really low spots where you lose your mojo. And
Yes.
do you,
Yeah,
how do you? So if that happens to you, and you
Yeah.
get in that creative slump where you just feel like every time you take paint to a canvas or do something, it's not working. How do you get through that?
I find that I make myself go there. That inspiration isn't something you find. I just go into my studio, and I just work on anything. I don't care how bad it is. I've got a painting at home now that is so heavy. When you lift it, you look at it and you think, why would it be that heavy? There's so much paint on it. I did 2 pourings, 2 regulars, and then back to gesso. And it sinks in the middle. It's that one that I even brought into the show. I forget, SpaceX.
Oh,
But I just keep going in there, and eventually you start just getting ideas, and it comes back. But it can take a while.
yeah. I have done that same thing where I just need to do something, anything, and I generally don't start with a big piece of canvas because I don't want to ruin something that big. So I start with something small. What mediums do you work in? What are your primary mediums?
I like acrylic, and I like oil, And I've been using a water-soluble oil.
Oh, how do you like those?
I like it. You can't mix it with water, though, because it ends up looking like being like rubber cement. You can't mix it with water, but you could thin it, and you can wash your brushes with soap and water. That's what I like. And then I like cold wax and oil.
Yeah.
And that works real well.
I love cold wax and
So
oil.
do I. It's so forgiving.
Yeah.
It's so forgiving.
I don't even use brushes.
No.
Very, very little do I use brushes.
No, you don't.
yeah.
Do you have a wedge?
I have a wedge. I have
Cards, scrapers,
the
forks.
scrapers and shapers.
Love
and
it.
Silicone. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only time I ever have silicone.
Yeah.
So, do you mostly paint? Have you ever done any sculpting?
No, but I'd love to.
What's something you'd really love to try that you haven't tried yet?
Well, I think sculpting, I think you've hit it. Because I've gotten into woodworking and I like that. I've built several things that are nice, pieces of furniture, and I really like that. I like doing anything as long as you're making it. You were talking about your sister being incredible. I've got 6 of them. Every one of them is creative in their own way, with spinning wheels or just all kinds of things.
7 sisters.
Six. I'm 7.
But
Yeah.
but the 7 girls.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
3
wow.
boys. Yeah.
It's a big family.
It is a big family.
Holy cow.
Number 8.
So, who do you look towards or like to look at when you're looking at artists? Like, are there particular artists that have given you inspiration or mentorship in either the way they paint, or they might have been a previous instructor?
George O'Keeffe.
George O'Keeffe. I can see that in your paintings.
And Paul Jenkins.
Paul Jenkins.
Oh, I love Paul Jenkins. He had a show at the Crocker, too. He does these incredible, just beautiful, huge canvases with paint. He just takes color. It's completely abstract, but he's wonderful, and I really like him.
The majority of your work is abstract.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Or metaphor.
Or a metaphor. Like this piece right here that's behind us. Mm-hmm. What's that called?
You make my spirits soar.
You make my... I love this piece. When I look at it, it reminds me of a Journey album, though.
Really?
It's that spaceship one. It's kind of like the teal-colored circles remind me of that scarab that's kind of going through, and I believe that was the Journey album. It kind of reminds me of that. It seems like a rock album cover to me. I love it. What's the process behind this piece? Like, what's going on in this piece?
Well, actually, it was just more of feeling. And it was a good feeling. It was positive, it was happy, and I just started painting, and the colors were mixed, the blues and the greens and the purples, and it just came together just by being happy.
So, are you one of those artists that paint better when you're happy or when you're angst-filled?
Oh, I think both.
Both.
I think both. I think the emotion is actually what gets me in the studio with passion. I think everything that I've done, it's been in a mood.
Okay.
But I'm not moody. I don't mean it like that. But
No,
I mean
no.
like just a real sense of something. It's what, like this last year with COVID, in the house and not being able to go out and being afraid all the time. When you go out, you come home, or you go out to get the mail and you don't know if that's your death sentence. I think that wears on you, and I think it wears on creativity.
I would have to agree with you.
I heard a saying one time, it says that pause is a prerequisite for wonder.
Oh, how nice. Pause is a prerequisite for wonder. I like that.
I think it's true, because when you go into the studio, I would go in still and everything, but there was no joy. There was more fear, and I think that even builds up in your body with stress hormones and that.
Yeah.
And you don't flow.
No.
Instead, you jab and you make that mess that I made.
Yes.
I'm telling you, you could use it for carpeting. I continue. It's going to be somebody's roof. I mean.
Well, you could
I'm
give it
serious.
to a homeless person and they'd be completely legit.
Tent with style.
Yeah, that would be the best looking tent around.
But you know what else is interesting is I think all artists, if you look at their stuff, I wonder what they were looking at. Because I got a fireplace with stone, looked at it for years, and one day I thought, this is so ugly, and I painted it. white, right? They're gray, light gray. But 2 years later, I went into the studio and I did this painting, and it's called Let's Dance. And things are like, arms are up in the air, and it's these people just happy, just stick figures, but their arms are up in the air and kind of curved, and both of them have tails, and it's called Let's Dance. And I was sitting and looking at that chimney, that fireplace, and I went in the studio and I brought it back out. The arms and all, I swear to God, all of the curves and everything fit exactly in that spot. A continuation where there's space in the rocks. How did that happen?
Well, I think that I believe that when we see things that sort of enlighten us, or we have a positive visceral reaction to, I think that burns a little image in our mind. And I think that sometimes that comes out unconsciously without us even knowing it, unless you can make the connection as you did.
Yeah, and I was just looking for a place to put it when I went, oh my God. I put it up and I went, oh my God. Every place that it goes off is exactly where a rock is. It's a complete coincidence. I'm not kidding.
I don't think it's coincidence.
No, I think it's what you said.
Yeah, I think it's
explained
subconscious imagery coming to mind.
Right.
So, tailing off that, how would you describe to the audience your process? Do you go out and take pictures? Do you start with a blank canvas, make some marks? What's your creative process like?
I like to look at a book of somebody else's paintings and just start looking through it, or go online and go to YouTube and go through some of those. And there's one guy, his last name is Jonas, and he does incredible abstract work. And he's Hispanic. Have you ever seen him? He dances when he's painting.
No.
And he's got huge pieces, and he's older, and he is so good, and he's so cute. Even when he dances, and he's an older guy, but he's painting. And you look at the paintings, and you get done, and you go, oh my God. And he's always doing it at Open Studio. I think it's Gerard Jonas. Something like that. He's really good, and he fires you up.
And is he here in the local area?
No, as a matter of fact, I think he's in one of the southern states.
Okay.
He's in one of the southern states.
Interesting. So seeing other artists' marks, colors might intrigue you enough to take that to the canvas. Do you ever then mimic some of those, or are you just let the inspiration of the image guide you?
I can't mimic anything, even my own work, when I've tried.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. I was married. My husband's biggest complaint is I could never make the same thing twice the same. And it's the same with painting. I have tried to do it. I'll try different colors. At least I'm onto something. I'll get it out. It's not going to happen. I don't mimic. So I wish. No, but it fires me up. It's like, maybe I'm looking for colors or something. I don't know, but it fires me up that somebody else is doing it.
It'd be interesting to pinpoint what it is that's happening in your brain.
Maybe we're shifting. Maybe looking at art shifts you to that part of the brain that's creative.
I think that's a very good, because sometimes when I'm feeling incredibly uninspired, I kind of want to see somebody's art, look at Pinterest, look at some things, and nothing usually translates to my canvas, but I think you're right. There is something about being visually stimulated. Now, with that, do you like going to galleries and artists and museums for that very reason? Or do you like to just go to enjoy the work that's there?
Both.
So when you come out of a gallery or something, do you feel more inspired than when you went in?
Yes. I feel as happy as when the 49ers win.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that a great feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're in the playoffs and then they win.
That's a really good feeling.
It's that kind of feeling.
I have that same feeling of being around more art makes me want to produce more.
Me too.
So there's a little tip for some of you out there, that maybe some younger artists, that what's going to inspire you is delving in and being surrounded by art. So if you're going through a tough time, come to the MAC, see an exhibit, go to the Crocker, go see some local art galleries around town, wherever it is that you live, and join a arts club. I mean, I know that I get inspired by a lot of our artists' work here at Rancho Cordova Arts.
Right.
We just had our members show, and man, that was the best members show.
I was inspired too.
Yeah, just
But
some
it's like-
amazing
it's-
pieces.
Yeah, it's like walking by Cinnabon. Right?
Only less calories, because I
With
usually
less
forget to eat when
calories.
I'm in the when I'm in my
Exactly.
studio.
But it's with less calories. But it's that same kind of like, it just pulls you right into your studio. Like, I want to go do that. I want to do that. I want to play. I want to play.
What's your favorite type of art? What do you like to look at?
Abstract.
Abstract.
I have tried realistic art. I've got a couple pieces not done at my house. Yawn. You know, I mean, that's just me, though. That's
Yeah,
just me.
yeah.
You know, because I'm just drawn towards
Well,
something
personal
else.
taste. That's the thing
Personal
about art,
taste.
right?
It's beautiful, and yes.
It's subjective to the viewer, and that's why art is so great.
And you know, and Jackson Pollock said, you know, I don't paint nature. I'm nature painting. Something about that saying stuck in my mind. And I look at reality painting and I think it's beautiful. I mean, I think it's incredible. And some of it we've seen, you just go, oh my God, how did they do that? But when I go, or if I was going to, I wouldn't hang it on my wall. There's something, I want more. I want more than that. I want the person.
Yeah.
And that's unique. Everything you've ever done has been unique. Nobody could ever do it
So
again.
what about the abstract is it that you like? Is it the color? Is it the movement?
Yes.
What about it is,
Color and movement.
yeah?
Color and movement. It's just eye candy.
What's your favorite piece you've created?
I think Evolve, or this one. Actually, I have several. I like that white one that I have. It's white with black. It's called Leaves.
Leaves?
There's something about it, and they're just. I have several.
Yeah.
You know, they got to get out of the house quick because they're becoming my babies. You know what I mean? I take it off the wall and go, I don't know.
Yeah. So do you ever get so attached to something that you don't want to sell it?
That one to my sister, but that was a different thing because that was guilt. I don't know.
Let's hope she's not watching.
Yeah, so she knows. No, but I'm selling it to her. Remember we put
Yeah,
that?
absolutely.
Yeah. But I don't know yet. I don't know.
Have you ever sold something and thought, oh, I wish I could have that back?
Yes.
Yeah, I have to.
Or what about G Clay? That's when I started thinking, I got G Clay. But I don't feel like it.
Yeah. Yeah. A print just isn't the same as having the real thing.
But the G Clay are beautiful.
They are. They're absolutely
But it's
beautiful,
not the same.
but it's not the same.
You can't feel the texture.
Yeah.
And most of mine have texture.
The emotion just is a slight
Right.
lacking. Art in person and the real thing is so much more powerful than,
Like a band at a concert or an album.
right.
Or a CD, I should say.
Yeah. Or if we're going way back, VH.
Wow.
I know. we can relate to that.
I didn't say
So
Victrola.
who is your favorite abstract artist?
I think it's Paul Jenkins.
Paul Jenkins. Okay, I'm gonna have to look him up
Yeah.
to
His older work.
his older work.
Yeah, when he had a lot of energy and you could see it. He would just take color and and transparent, and he used a whale bone. It took me 5 years to figure out what he was using and finally find it in an article. And it was a whale bone. And I'm going to Alaska, but it's against the law to have a whale bone. So then,
if you don't come back, I know
I'll be in the alley.
what's happened to you.
I'll be asking around. No, never mind. No, and he would just make these wide sweeps and then put another color over it, and they're transparent. They're just beautiful to me. The flow,
Interesting.
the freedom. It's the freedom. And I think that painting is so joyful that I like it when I've got a big space and I can just use the whole body.
That's interesting because there's a lot of people that fear the large canvas because they don't know how to fill it up,
That's a small one.
you know. But now, do you buy your canvases or do you make your canvases?
I buy them.
There's a lot of work involved in, that time and money thing. But I do love, I don't stretch canvas anymore because I don't paint often on canvas. But I do like making my own cradled boards because I can make them at any size.
Yeah. I'm going to have to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
I tried making one, but it takes 4 people to carry it.
Yeah. So do you like painting on canvas or board or paper? What's your favorite substrate to paint on?
I think canvas, and second is board. And board is catching up because I've been doing more cold wax.
And you can just scratch into it. You can do anything with it.
I kind of like board.
Yeah, I'm a huge proponent for board.
And they've been around a long time.
Yeah, they have. And I think it lasts a little bit longer.
I do too. I think it does
And I think
too.
it's easier to fix.
Yep, I think so. Unless you have termites.
Unless you have termites, yep.
Yeah.
Did you go to school to be an artist?
No, but I took classes in art as an undergraduate. So I've got so many different degrees you wouldn't believe it. I've got one in criminal justice, I got my bachelor's in fine arts, right? I got a master's in psychology and a PhD in rhetoric and communication. And a minor in English.
So would you say you overthink your art sometimes? With all that knowledge? That's a lot.
That's a lot. I don't know. Maybe you just put the finger on it. I'm not certain, to be honest with you. I'm not certain.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to get a PhD in psychology, but I'm too sarcastic to work with depressed people.
So
It's true.
Would you say that,
Yes.
do you paint every day?
Yes, I try to.
Wow. So someone who works, because you're still working.
Well, I've got summer off, but in fall, then I'll be full blast. And in fall, then I don't. You're right. I can't paint every day. You know what? It's just like, I think it's like COVID. When you're working, and if you're working a lot, don't you notice you don't paint as much? But then you're in a creative situation. It's different.
That has helped. Being a curator at a gallery and a cultural center helps keep me inspired, and I'll paint 2 hours from like 5 to 7 before I come to work.
Right. And when school starts, maybe I'll paint a couple times and wait till January.
Yeah.
Because it just, yeah.
Now, we have an upcoming open studios that you're going to be in.
Yes.
So are you working diligently to get some work to fill the walls here at the MAC?
Absolutely. I'm really excited about this. This is the first opportunity I've had to have that many pieces up at one time. Hopefully I can get enough. But I've got different sizes that I'm going to have because I was thinking about you. I just ordered a bunch of floater frames yesterday for smaller pieces. You know, and I'm looking into it.
Was that a Jerry's Artorama?
Jerry's
Yeah,
Artorama,
yeah.
Jerry's Artorama. And I think they're the best.
Yeah, Jerry's is good.
Jerry's is good. And I'm just looking forward to it, but I'm also looking forward to seeing all the other artists and all of their things in one spot, like a corner. Because that really does help you when you get to see everybody's work. You start to notice their style, so you can figure it out, just walk in and go, oh, I know who did that.
It is nice to see a body of work. So is this the first time you will have had a body of work in one section at a time, or?
Actually, I had one more, but it was still smaller. It was at a smaller studio in Sacramento, and there were just 2 of us with the show. But other than that, yes, this will be the first time that I'll have several.
This will be like you're coming out.
Yes, it will.
Awesome. It's Open Studios is a tremendous way for artists, creatives, and collectors to come and view artists. We're going to have 10 people here in the at the MAC. One of those will be Edith. Edith, do you have a website with your art?
I have Instagram.
You have Instagram.
But I need to, we just got through with the 6x6 show. I need to go through and retake pictures of all of my pieces because when I put them on Instagram, they were being cut off. So you really couldn't see the full piece. You saw part of it. And I've got, I think, 18 up now, and some of those they're cut off, and I just stopped because I thought I wanted to see the whole thing. But now I've got time.
Good.
We'll be working
Good.
on that.
So what's your Instagram handle?
LeFebvre's Art Studio. Or LeFebvre's Art. I think I shortened it.
LeFebvre's Art. Well, there you have it. So get on Instagram, follow LeFebvre Art. You can see what Edith is producing lately. I actually don't think I am following you yet. So I need to...
Wait. Wait, because I want them up there. As soon as I saw they were like that, and I spent a lot of time trying
Well,
to
if I
adjust
don't
them.
do something now, I'll forget. I don't know about you.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
And then come see Edith and 9 other artists at Open Studios, which is the 18th and 19th from 10 to 5 here at the MAC. And we will have a preview of our Open Studios here at the MAC on Friday evening, where we will be having a concert out on the porch, and all the artists will be here with their work, so you can get a preview before anybody else does. And that will be from 6 to 9:30. And you can see Mick Martin's big band out on the porch. So come on out, have a cocktail with us, see some art, listen to a concert. It's going to be great, and you'll see a lot of Edith's work. And it is quite spectacular when you get an artist collection in one room. Edith, thanks for joining us today. It's great to learn a little bit more about your process, and keep us updated on any new happenings that you have.
Thank you. And thank you for this opportunity. And I think Mitch is going to be here.
Yeah.
Mick Martin.
Mick Martin.
At the MAC. I don't know what could be better. Mick Martin is so good. Oh, I haven't seen him in a while. And this has got to be one of the best galleries, I think, venues in the Sacramento region.
Well, thank you very much. We definitely work hard at it. And thank you for all your incredibly diligent work and hard work on the Micro Masterpieces project, which is our local 501c3 fundraiser for Rancho Cordova Arts. So with that, we will say goodbye until our next episode. Stay creative, and we'll see you next time.